right. Next one. I think that this one was really random, but it was on y'all's review that said you need to know it. So identify complex conjugates. Complex conjugate is when you change the sign of the imaginary part. So if you have 1 minus 3i, the complex conjugate is just changing the sign of this part right here. So it's going to be 1 plus 3i. If you want the complex conjugate of this, that's changing the sign. This is negative 5i, but never touching the real part. Again, I don't know where you're going to use that, but if you need it, there you go. All right, next part, solving real-world applications of polynomials. As soon as y'all see word problems, you like run away like they're the worst things ever. A lot of times, it gives you majority of the information. It's just, can you plug it in and solve? So if you are given this problem, it gives you the equation D equals V naught T plus 1/2 AT squared, where D is the displacement, V naught is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration due to gravity, and T is the time in seconds of all blah, 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 all that stuff. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. We know that the distance is equal to V naught, it tells you, is 8. So 8t plus 1/2. It tells you A is acceleration due to gravity, and it tells you that the acceleration due to gravity is this. So plus 1/2, then your A value, negative 9.8 t squared. Okay, so that's plugging in all the information that it gives you. If you don't do that, you're never going to be able to solve it because there's going to be way too many variables. So now let's, D is equal to 8t. If you actually multiply this out, you're going to get minus half of 90, or 9.8 is going to be 4.9 t squared. So if part A is asking you to find the zeros, that's just factoring that, and that's super, super easy to factor. So both of these have a t in common, so I'm going to factor out a t, and I'm going to be left with 8 minus 4.9t, and then I'm just going to set those both equal to 0. So one of my zeros is going to be 0. My other 0, if I set 8 minus 4.9t equal to 0, I'm going to subtract 8, and then I'm going to divide by negative 4.9. So I'm going to have negative 8 divided by negative 4.9. That's going to give me that t is equal to about 1.63. So those are your zeros. So that's not too bad as long as you understand where to plug things in. Next thing, what's the maximum height? Remember, so we're talking about a ball. So like some person, this is time for my art lesson, took a ball and they threw it, and it looks something like that. If it wants to know its maximum height, now we're talking about the vertex. All right. The x value is going to be time. The y value is going to be your height. So if I want to find, both of these are going to go together. What is the maximum height? That's asking for a y value. How long will it take to get there? That's asking for an x value. Now, in order for you to figure out what your vertex is, you have to remember that the x value in your vertex is equal to negative b over 2a. So if we plug in, now this is in the wrong order, so let's write it in the actual right order so that your a value and your b value are in the right spot. So if we start to plug in to this equation, it's going to be that x is equal to negative b is going to be negative 8 over 2 times A, which is negative 4.9. And we're going to multiply that out. So if we multiply that out, we get 0.82. This is in terms of seconds because this is time, so it's getting there really quickly. And then what's the maximum height that it's going to reach? That's taking this x value that we just got and plugging it into our equation. So negative 4.9 times 0.82 squared plus 8 times 0.82. Again, I don't think that they're going to ask you to multiply like little things like that, where you have to multiply the fractions and everything, or the decimals and everything, but good for you to see an example. That ends up giving you 3.27. And this is in terms of, this is a height, so this is in terms of meters. Make sure to put labels on things. Give yourself a chance to get as many points as possible, especially on that free response. All right, you can come back for that next page. We're kind of rocking and rolling. We're getting towards, this is the end of Unit 7, so now we're moving into Unit 8.